Hey everybody, Rob Veno here, WagerTalk TV with your free play for today, Monday, January the 6th. We're going to go NBA style here, Phoenix at Philadelphia. I think we got a good angle on this one where we can cash. But first, I want to let everybody know about the WagerTalk special offer going on this week. In fact, it's good for one more day here, so time to hop in on this one. You can get a free month, an all-access pack for an entire month. Normally a $299 value. Buy a 3-month all-access package, 90-day all-access package, and get an additional 30 for free. Again, that's a $299 deal, and it includes everything that I release: NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball. 120 days is going to carry you basically all the way through March Madness and into the NBA playoffs. So special deal here, special offer from WagerTalk, 3-month, 90-day all-access package purchase will get you an additional 30 days absolutely free. Go ahead and check it out at WagerTalk.com. Let's get into this Philadelphia Phoenix game here. Look at the scheduling first. Each team had a day off yesterday. They both played Saturday. Phoenix is on the front end of a back-to-back. They're going to go to Charlotte tomorrow. For Philly, it's their first home game after a 6-game road trip, which was kind of crazy. It started in Boston on Christmas Day, went all the way west, and then recently ended over the weekend in Brooklyn. Current form, Sixers not bad. 4-2 straight up, 3-2-1 ATS on their road trip. And really, it should have been 5-1 straight up and 4-2 against the spread, except for a late collapse against the Sacramento Kings. It was something like a 13-0 run by the Kings to end that game. Philly had it in control. The Suns, however, not so good. 3-10 against the spread their last 13 games. They've been an under team, 8-1 under the number last 9 games. These teams have played once this season. Phoenix wins it 118-116 back on November 4th. Not a lot to take from that game because there were so many injuries, but Kevin Durant did hit a game winner with about 24 seconds left in that one. Here's where I find a difference in this game. I'm going to go to a difference in quotes here. Here's a concerning quote from Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. Here's what he said after last game. "The vibes are low, man. We just have to keep fighting. It's a blessing to even be in this position, but our output is super ugly right now. We continue to build. Hopefully later in the season, these moments right here are out the way, got past them, but right now, we're in the thick of it." Doesn't sound like Phoenix is in a good spot at this point in time. However, contrast that with what Paul George said about the Philadelphia 76ers. He said the injuries just haven't been on our side, but I think we're gelling. We're starting to enjoy each other out on the floor. The stuff off the court is starting to trickle on the court, and that's a great sign. A lot of us who handicap NBA here often point to when teams like each other, things go a lot better, and that's the indication that Paul George is giving right now as Philly gets back into a groove and tries to dig out of an early season hole. I look at it like this. Phoenix comes off a long 5-game road swing, I'm going to say this first, because that Brooklyn game on Saturday, to me, was a pretty good buy signal for Philadelphia. They were on the road for a long time. They come all the way back from the West Coast after 2 tough losses. Again, the Sacramento loss, and then getting shot out of the building by Steph Curry, who hit 8 threes in that game. They go to Brooklyn. Not only do they win the game by 29 points, in the 6th and final game of a road trip, but they won every single quarter in that game. I thought that was a real good sign for the Philadelphia 76ers in that one. Generally speaking, don't like to play teams in their first home game after a long road trip. But it seems like these teams are going such different directions. The Suns were tied 56-56 at halftime the other night. They gave up 70 in the second half and lost. I think Philadelphia is in better shape right now and heading in the right direction. Thought the price was cheap here, so the play is going to be Philadelphia minus the 3.5. Let's move down the card here to a later game this evening. San Antonio at Chicago. Good game here. The Chicago Bulls at home opened up as a 1-point underdog all the way up to a 3-point underdog now, as San Antonio has attracted a lot of early money here on Monday. Let's look at the scheduling, which does seem to favor the Chicago Bulls. San Antonio had yesterday off. They travel from San Antonio to Chicago. It is their third game in 4 days after a back-to-back home-and-home series with the Denver Nuggets, 2 games which they split. Chicago's had a really favorable schedule as of late. They've only played 1 time in the last 4 days, and they've been at home the entire time. They did play Saturday in a Derrick Rose celebration game, a game where they defeated the New York Knicks 139 to 125, shot lights out. Again, Chicago really well rested here. San Antonio has played more, and the scheduling edge has to go to Chicago here. Current form, the Spurs, they split their back-to-backs with the Denver Nuggets. They win in Denver, lose in overtime at home on the very next night. I want to talk a little bit about, though, how this game sets up, in my estimation, real well for the Spurs. They just played twice against Denver. Denver, an extremely fast tempo team this year. Unusual for the Nuggets to be atop of the pace ratings, generally down the bottom, a methodical team. But this year it's different. They're number 5 in seconds per possession, and the Bulls are number 2. So basically, San Antonio's facing the same style opponent for the third straight game. In those 2 games against Denver, San Antonio did a really good job containing Denver's high-paced offense. Denver only scored 110 points on 43.3% shooting at home in Game 1. And then in Game 2, if I just use regulation, Denver scored 108 points and only shot 43.5. Both of those are well below season numbers. San Antonio, good job controlling a high-paced team. They did run out of gas Saturday night in overtime. Denver won that one. But I think those numbers are important because Chicago's going to run the ball here, and San Antonio defensively and depth-wise seems to have answers to not stopping it, but at least controlling it. Now, in saying that, we have to remember that the first time around between these 2 teams was December the 5th, when the Bulls scored 139 and won by 14 over the Spurs, shot 57% in that game, made 52 field goals. So that game being about a month ago, it looks to me like the Spurs, with all their pieces back in place, have got a couple more answers defensively than maybe they did in that particular contest. The Bulls are 3-1 against the spread in their last 4. Couple of difference makers here to me when I take a final look at this game. I think the matchup of Victor Wembanyama against Nikola Vucevic is huge here because Vucevic, a lot of times, is used as the centerpiece of the Chicago Bulls offense. Billy Donovan likes to run things through him, and Wembanyama has become a defensive force. After the game, I think Saturday night, Nikola Jokic pointed to it, how difficult it is to score against that guy. I think Vucevic, again, he's generally an integral part of this team's offense. I think he might have a difficult time here. The defensive disparity certainly is widely in favor of the Spurs. The Bulls are still a lousy defensive team, and I think depth will become an issue here for Chicago. They're still without Torrey Craig, Ayo Dosunmu. San Antonio is so versatile. They can split minutes 1 through 10 and just interchange their pieces, where Chicago is a little bit depth shy at this point in time. Only real personnel matchup that could be somewhat scary is on the defensive end with Chris Paul against Josh Giddey. Asking the Spurs to win on the road as a favorite, win by 4, so you're asking for a slight margin. It's not something that we would have thought we'd be doing past few years, even this year. But I think it's a good spot here to do so. They had the day of rest yesterday. They match up well. I'm going to agree with the early movement on this game and make this free play. San Antonio -3 on the way out. I'd like, again, to ask everybody to hit the like button if you like the analysis, the selections provided here by all the WagerTalk handicappers each and every day. Please hit the like button. It helps the site. If you have a comment on this game or any other game tonight that you'd like to have us hear, I try to read and react to them as quickly as I can. So drop a comment on whatever game you like tonight. Once again, hit subscribe. Join the 190,000 plus subscribers to WagerTalk TV right now. For now, this is Rob Veno saying good luck with all your bets. I'll see you next time on WagerTalk TV.